All right, Eagles Nation, welcome back to FlyEaglesFly News, the spot where real fans get that raw passion, the latest talk, and the heart of Philly football straight from the source. And today, we gotta start with something a little different. It's not just about touchdowns or highlights or stats this time. It's about one of the league's most talented corners, Jaire Alexander, and something that hits way deeper than football. Word around the league is that Jaire's been thinking about retirement. Not because he's washed or can't play anymore, but because he's fighting battles both physically and mentally, and when I hear that, man, it makes me stop and think. This game we love, it can take a toll on you in ways we don't always see now. I remember a while back, a bunch of us were going back and forth in the comments, arguing about that trade. Some of y'all said it was the right move, some said it wasn't. I was in that group that wasn't feeling it, but at the end of the day, that doesn't matter anymore. This ain't about who was right or wrong about a transaction. This is about a man who might be breaking down under the pressure that comes with this league. It's easy for fans to forget that these players aren't just helmets and jerseys. They're human. They hurt, they struggle, and sometimes they need to step away to breathe again. Jaire Alexander. When he first came into the league, he was a problem for every offense. You look at his early seasons with Green Bay, the man was easily top 5 at his position. Sharp instincts, quick feet, fearless on the ball. He had that swagger, that confidence that corners need to survive in this league. But then came the injuries, the knees, the nagging pain, and everything started to pile up. Green Bay started shopping him around, and eventually, he landed in Baltimore. And that's where things seemed to hit a low point, one of the worst games of his career. He just didn't look like himself out there. Baltimore gave up quick, and the Eagles took a chance, hoping maybe a change of scenery would light that fire again. But even in Philly, the vibe wasn't right. Reports started surfacing that he wasn't mentally in it. That maybe his body was fine, but his mind wasn't. And when you hear that, it hits different. We've seen this before, players struggling silently while the world only sees the surface. You think about what happened to Marshall Neen with the Cowboys, rest in peace, and you realize how fragile this all is. So yeah, we can argue about trades and picks and depth charts all day, but when a man's mental health is on the line, football stops mattering. I don't want to see another tragedy play out in front of us. I don't want to hear another story about a player who couldn't find peace off the field, so I'm saying it plain, pray for Jaire. Pray for the man, not the player. I hope he takes all the time he needs, because when your head's not right, your body follows. If he comes back, I hope he comes back stronger, more centered, and ready to be that elite corner again. But if he doesn't, if he really decides to hang it up, then I hope he finds happiness in that decision too. What's crazy is he's still so young. 28, maybe 29 years old. That's not old in football years, especially for someone as talented as he is. He could have had at least another 2 or 3 seasons in his prime, locking down receivers, making plays, being that guy defenses feared, and that's what hurts about it, not just the thought of what could have been, but the reminder that this game takes a lot out of people. These athletes give everything, their bodies, their time, their sanity, all to entertain us for a few hours every Sunday. Jaire's story is also a Philly story. He grew up here, grinding, dreaming that one day football would change everything, and it did. It gave him a way to provide, to build something for himself and his family. But it also came with pressure, expectations, and that endless cycle of proving yourself over and over again. And when your mental health starts slipping, that pressure becomes unbearable. You can't play through that the same way you play through a sprained ankle or a sore shoulder. This league will chew you up if you're not right up here. So when I say I'm praying for him, I mean it. I hope he finds his balance again. I hope he takes care of himself. Because we can sit here all day talking about whether the Eagles made the right move trading for him, or whether Green Bay should have held on a little longer. But none of that means anything if the man isn't okay. Mental health doesn't care about contracts, stats, or highlight reels. It doesn't care about fan debates or social media noise. It's about survival, you know. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If your mind ain't right, nothing else works. You can have all the talent in the world, the best training staff, the biggest contract. None of that matters if you wake up every day fighting your own thoughts. Jaire Alexander's not some veteran in his mid-30s who's ready to call it quits, because he's done it all. He's still got years left, but if he's saying his mind needs a break, then the best move he can make right now is to listen to himself, step away, breathe, get help, find peace, and as fans, we gotta do better at remembering that. We talk a lot about toughness and grit and playing through pain. But there's a different kind of toughness that doesn't get enough credit. The courage to say, I need help. The courage to walk away before it's too late. This sport glorifies pushing through everything, but sometimes pushing through can destroy you. So higher, if somehow you hear this, take care of yourself. Brother, the city's behind you. You gave us moments. You gave us energy. And that's more than enough. Football will always be here, but you only get one life, one mind. Protect that first. And if you ever decide to come back, do it because you want to, not because people expect you to. It's wild to think that someone that young, that talented, could already be considering retirement. But it just shows how real this is. Every Sunday we see the hits, the speed, the excitement, but we don't see the rehab sessions, the quiet nights, the doubts. We don't see the parts of the game that break players down, and for hire. Maybe this is that breaking point, and maybe stepping away isn't a sign of weakness. Maybe it's the only way to rebuild. This league moves fast, teams move on, fans move on, but what stays behind is the person trying to figure out what comes next, and no matter what happens, I hope Hire finds peace in whatever decision he makes. Whether it's on a football field or somewhere far away from it. I hope he finds his balance again, because at the end of the day, no game, no trophy, no highlight is worth losing yourself over. And that's why, right now, I'm not even gonna talk about what the Eagles gave up for him, or whether we could have gotten our picks back. That conversation can wait. What matters right now is the human being behind the helmet. This is bigger than football. This is about mental health, identity, and peace, and that's something every player, every fan, and honestly every person should understand. So yeah, man, all love to Hire Alexander. Philly's praying for you. Take your time. Come back when you're ready, or don't come back if that's what you need. Either way, the respect is there, because stepping away from the game you love to take care of yourself. That's not quitting. That's strength. All right, now let's shift gears a little. Because while the Hire Alexander story hits deep and reminds us how human this game really is, the show goes on. And inside that Eagles locker room, there's a lot happening, especially when it comes to leadership and chemistry. And right now, one name keeps coming up in all the right ways. A.J. Brown. Say what you want about stats, targets, or touchdowns, but one thing you can't deny is that A.J. Brown is one hell of a teammate. You could see it in the last game, the way he spoke about Saquon Barkley's big runs, the way he shouted out Devonta Smith for that huge touchdown. He wasn't sitting there sulking about not getting the ball enough. He was smiling, giving credit, showing love to the guys around him. That's the stuff that doesn't always make headlines, but it matters way more than people realize. AJ's attitude in that post-game interview said everything you need to know. When reporters asked how he balances the frustration of missed opportunities with the happiness of a big win, he just said it's about showing up every day ready to work. That's the kind of mentality championship teams need. No drama, no ego, just hunger. And then when he broke down that play about Devonta Smith getting free because the safety stayed locked on him, it showed how much of the game he sees. AJ knows when he's pulling coverage, he's creating space for his teammates, and when you hear him talk about blocking on Saquon's run, you realize he doesn't see that as anything special. He said it himself. That's part of the job. That's a team-first mindset. He wasn't looking for a pat on the back. He just wanted to shine the light on the guy who broke the tackle and made the play. That's leadership without needing the spotlight. And yeah, sure, maybe he gets frustrated when defenses double him, when game plans revolve around taking him out. But you'd never know it by the way he carries himself in front of the camera. And honestly, that says a lot, because let's be real, teams have been throwing everything at him. Bracket, coverage, double teams, safety help over the top. Every defensive coordinator in the league circles his name first on the board when preparing for Philly, yet he keeps showing up, keeps blocking, keeps running routes even when he's the decoy. That's what real pros do. Now, let's talk about what's really been causing a stir lately. That 4th and 6 play against Green Bay, you know the one. 30 seconds left on the clock, ball on the Packers' 35-yard line. And suddenly Jalen Hurts throws a deep shot down the sideline to A.J. Brown. Everybody watching was like, what the hell was that? It looked reckless, like a miscommunication or a blown call. But then the reports started coming in and things got interesting. Turns out That play wasn't part of the script. Word is, Jalen and AJ went rogue again. Just like they did back in that Seattle game a couple years ago now. You can look at that two ways. On one hand, yeah, it's risky, and it can make the coaches furious because it breaks structure. On the other hand, it shows trust between the guys who believe in each other enough to take that kind of shot. That's the balance between chaos and chemistry, and sometimes it's a thin line. When I first heard it, I was mad too. I was yelling at the screen like, why would you do that? But then when the full story came out, I started to get it. It wasn't about ego or rebellion. It was about connection. It was Jalen trying to take care of his guy, trying to get him involved, trying to keep that fire alive. Because when you're A.J. Brown and you've been getting double-teamed all night, when you've been grinding just to get open and still can't see the ball, that can mess with your rhythm. And Jalen Hurts, being the leader he is, saw that and thought, let me feed my guy. That's what real quarterbacks do. They read the room, they know their guys, and sometimes they take risks to keep the chemistry alive. Sure, it didn't work that time, but it spoke volumes about where their relationship stands. People love to make drama out of every little thing. Oh, AJ's unhappy. Jalen's frustrated, but when you watch the tape and listen to them, it's clear that bond is still strong now. I will say this though, the real tension might not be between AJ and Jalen at all. It might be between AJ and offensive passing game coordinator Kevin Patullo, because man, I'm gonna keep it real. It feels like Patullo hasn't quite figured out how to use AJ Brown the way Brian Johnson did. When Brian Johnson was calling plays, AJ was feasting. The routes were dynamic. The motion kept defenses guessing. And the chemistry between the play calling and AJ's strengths just made sense. But lately, it's been too predictable. Defenses know what's coming. They know where AJ's going to line up. You can almost feel it watching the tape. Same routes, same spots, no creativity. And that's frustrating because AJ Brown is a top-tier receiver in this league. You can't just park him in one position and expect greatness. Move him around. Put him in the slot. Get him mismatches. Make defenses chase him. That's how you keep your number one guy involved. It's not rocket science. It's just good football. AJ's too good to be used like a basic wideout. He's a weapon, and weapons need to be deployed, not just placed. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. A bombshell seems to have erupted in the NFL world, sending shockwaves through the league's front offices and fan circles alike. Sources close to the league have whispered that Jerry Jones, the larger-than-life owner of the Dallas Cowboys, has reportedly unleashed a scathing verbal assault on the Philadelphia Eagles, with allegations so explosive that even the NFL brass is allegedly treading carefully. According to insiders, Jones's comments are not merely about on-field rivalries or standard competitive jabs. They are said to involve claims that question the integrity of operations, management decisions, and potentially even adherence to league rules. The buzz around this story suggests that Jones has, in his characteristic bold fashion, gone public or at least semi-public via social media and private industry channels, painting the Eagles in a light that few would have dared just months ago. While the Cowboys owner is known for his fiery rhetoric and relentless pursuit of advantage for his team, this latest salvo is reportedly being taken seriously because of the precision and specificity of the accusations. Sources hint at claims ranging from suspicious roster moves to questionable internal conduct, leaving analysts and fans alike speculating about the real story behind the headlines. Industry insiders say the NFL is caught in a difficult position, balancing the need to maintain transparency and fairness while managing the fallout from one of its most high-profile owners. The league's reluctance or perhaps caution in launching a full-scale investigation only adds fuel to the rumor mill, with speculation running rampant that a quiet, behind-the-scenes inquiry may already be underway. Some observers suggest that this is more than typical trash talk. They see it as a potential prelude to formal grievances or league intervention, though no official statements have confirmed such developments. Meanwhile, fan forums, sports talk shows, and social media platforms have exploded with theories, analyses, and hot takes, as supporters and critics of both franchises weigh in. Whether Jones's accusations hold water or are merely a strategic power play remains anyone's guess. But one thing is clear, the rivalry between the Cowboys and Eagles has entered a new, highly charged phase. and the league's response or lack thereof will be dissected for weeks to come. For now, the sports world watches with bated breath, knowing that the next move could reshape narratives, reputations, and perhaps even the way rivalries are managed in the NFL. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.